Welcome everyone. Today the meeting is about the chapter Continuity, Self-Conscientiality, Evolutivity, Seriality. So just remind everyone that we are recording the meeting, and we invite Jacqueline and Regina to start the meeting. They are the facilitators for that meeting. So guys, is with you.
Thanks, Magali. So I guess we should introduce ourselves just a little bit. So my name's Jacqueline Cowan, and I'm a coordinator of ISIC currently, and a volunteer of XXVIII. And I found out about Conscientiology in 2007 in Australia, and now I'm currently living in Foz do Iguaçu, Brazil.
So good morning from Brazil, but also good afternoon, good evening from other people. And before we start, I'd like also to thank ISIC for these opportunities that the institution has offered to deepen conscientiology knowledge. And also I'd like to thank for the invitation to be a facilitator in this activity. I am Regina Esterman. I have been a volunteer since then 2001. And I have been a volunteer in some institutions, and I have been a volunteer at OIC since 2013, and a consciential therapist too since 2015. And I am speaking from São Paulo now. Can I start, Jacqueline, with some points?
Sure, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, so in these 4 chapters, as Magali said, continuity, self-conscientiality, evolutivity, and seriality that we are talking about today. Professor Waldo approached some topics related to us as a consciousness in an evolution process. And I think he stressed that we are here for a while, and therefore it's very important to know or to learn how to prioritize our time, our interests, our motivations, and also to think about our consciential authenticity, or how are we acting in coherence with this condition. It's my opinion about these sessions. And I paid more attention to the first one, continuity and self-conscientiality. And I think we can maybe, to warm up, I bring a question about the session 458. Moment. So, I think this session, continuity, presents themes that makes us think bigger, or that broaden our vision and our sense of continuism. And I think this expansion direct us or lead us to learn to adjust the weight we put on our human-animal problems, is an expression from in this chapter. And in this pandemic moment, this is a question for us. How have you been analyzing our priorities as an evolving consciousness? For example, the topic here is chapter 458, number 10, conscientiality. it's not a good idea to continue to mislead yourself through self-corruptions. If you reflect on this refined level of conscientiality, we will begin to see transitory material concerns as banal and ridiculous in relation to the reality of your permanent condition as a lucid consciousness. The instincts, appetites, earthbound interests, selfish values and resentments stop having the immense expression that mediocre and animalistic conscience still attribute to them, and to which they so blindly cling in human life. So this moment that we are more at home, that we are not able to do things that we used to do, how we have using this time or enjoying this time to think about this condition, or about our priorities as a consciousness in evolution. One point more, I am a conscientiotherapist. Then I have seen some people, it's for this that's paid my attention. They are asking more about Proexis, for example, what I am doing here, what I am having a prioritization in my life. So I don't know if this moment started or improved these questions, but I think it's something that we can think about and we can discuss about.
So, Regina, I want to talk about that because as I was saying in the beginning, those chapters make me think a lot about this, the time we are having in this life and the urgency to take advantage of this life, do recycle in this life. So when I saw that was so many pages, no, it's a lot. So I think it was the biggest chapters. It was 4 chapters, but I think the number of pages was amount of, is a lot. So, but anyway, I thought was the energy when I was reading change, and I was started to thinking of the importance of those chapters, the importance of seriality, the importance of we are here now and what we have to do, which recycles we can do,
Mm-hmm.
It's a big opportunity even for us that we live in a group, and we are a big group now, and we can communicate through the internet. So that's so great that we are together and we can, help each other. And so I had a lot of experience with these chapters. So that's great.
Yeah, I think these chapters helped us to broaden our vision about life, for example, and also, what I was thinking about this question. Sometimes we put a lot of weight in our interphysical necessities and questions, things. Of course, we need to put attention on this because we are living here. We need to survive. But this measure, I think that these chapters invited me to think about this. How much we are living or putting weight in this condition. intraphysical condition.
Yeah, it's interesting because all of the chapters, it kind of, for me, it led to the same question, like in terms of the priority, like, you know, how much are you really prioritizing your evolution? Like what, like how much are you like, in terms of your physical interests, like Hajina was saying, like Magali, like it's, how can I say, we may think, yeah, we're prioritizing our evolution, but we still have, like how much in our false sanity, how much are we thinking about other concerns and worrying about what other people even think about us, or worrying about, you know, all sorts of issues which are really not focused on evolution and that how can I say, that way of thinking, which, or orthodoxity, which will you know, help us to move forward.
It's a chapter also I think that I am trying also to keep in my mind is to be connected with the helpers, for example, and at least to pay more attention in what I am thinking, and what is my intention, and to connect with them, to notice them better. And there is a chapter, I don't know exactly where is this, but Professor Waldo mentioned how is I haven't thought about this so deeper, but how is also difficult for the helpers to connect with us when we are thinking so much, or intraphysically, or in things that are not so important to our evolution. So we difficult this connection with them. So things that are interesting to think about. I don't know exactly where is this.
Also, the work you do also kind of creates a better connection with the helpers, right? The assistance you're practicing and your sanity, right? To keep that connection, it's really important to pay attention on that, I guess.
Yeah, it's interesting what you're saying, because I was thinking, like, we do, you know, our volunteering activities, but even while we're doing our volunteering activities, what's the percentage? Like, we're connected with the helpers and just focused on the assistance, right? And not focus on our own concerns or worries, or, you know, there's always a percentage, yeah, which we can improve on. But yes, I think that the volunteering, all these activities, they help us to remain connected. Yeah.
Yeah, I think these chapters lead us to think more bigger. Yes, to think more as an advanced consciousness. I think, I don't know who had read the chapters, but it's my impression from this.
Yes, in the self-conscientiality section, we can see that the books talk a lot about your potentiality, you know, and growing, and also talk about, you know, even expansion of consciousness, restriction, amplify, and cosmetic lucidity. And I think self-conscientiality is a part, is the section that make me feel, you know, that I have a lot of potentiality to invest in this life.
Yeah, I think also, Magali, there are chapters in this session that Professor Waldo provoked us to analyze our self-corruptions, in which a way we still are acting as a self-corruptible consciousness, also about our repressions, in which fields we repressed ourselves. It means we have our potentialities, our consciousness, power consciousness, but sometimes we repressed also these potentialities. And why? Né? Why are you doing this? So maybe analyzing our intentions, as Jacqueline told, is a way to think why I am repressed my power. Né? There is a chapter that Professor Waldo asked us about this. Also about self-confidence. Né? So there are chapters that we can think more about ourselves as a consciousness, about our self-conscientiality.
It's one thing which strikes me about these chapters is how society conditions us to think and behave and so on in certain ways, but we obviously have our own responsibility in our own self-inheritance, right? So our attitudes and our beliefs that we inherit from ourselves. Yeah. So we can't just pass all the responsibility onto the society, even though it is pathological and it is a massive influence. And so it sort of reaches this whole idea of saturation, you know, the saturation point. And one thing which at the start of all this pandemic, I was sort of hoping it would help people to reach some new understandings and insights and so on. But as the months have gone on and months have passed, I don't know if I'm seeing the level of change in people, and perhaps we won't see things. It'll take years for those sorts of bigger changes to manifest in society. I hope they do, but because it's a real intense saturation at the moment of people with themselves, of people in more confined spaces, of people having to do things and change their habits that they haven't done before. And so all those distractions we used to be able to put into our life, we now can't so easily do, or perhaps we can't do at all. And so it's a moment where if we reflect more, then we can have insights. If we get to the point of getting saturated and want to change, then the insights and the changes will come. And that's sort of it, isn't it? Like, is it an acceleration and like an evolutionary acceleration at this moment? Is it one among many that's been happening, I suppose, over a long time? But I'm sort of cheering for the fact that hopefully it is something which is going to have a big impact. And so reading about conscientiality, I just was contemplating that, the saturation point, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think we are living a time to reflection, because even with, we have this kind of pandemic, because how we can reflect our values and our bonding with each other. Because I think people is still more aware around them, because you can keep in touch with someone with a long time when you don't talk with someone. So we need to think about more each other and to avoid some self-corruption, because there are more a lot of distraction in a virtual world.
Yeah.
So,
I was thinking exactly that. Social media and all those things which, people are in their own home, but they have all these distractions as well, which probably doesn't help for them to self-reflect and just stop and sit with themselves and, reflect more. Yeah.
Here in US, they talk about social distancing, right? And I tell people there's no social distancing. It's just like a physical distancing, because socially speaking, they're online there, with the social media, and but why they say it, why they put it there like social distancing, right? It's kind of not the truth. That's not the fact. That doesn't correspond to the real facts, I guess.
Yes, and actually lots of people are, academics are challenging this, because it's not it's a distance, a social distance or physical distance. It's a physical distance. Social distance, no, that's what you said, Renato, because people are interconnected with each other. People are talking and the social media, and so it's actually a meaning different, no? And that's one of the things that they are talking about, the aging population. They are taking as social distance and physical distance as the same. They are isolating themselves. But Regina talked about made a relation between those chapters and the current situation we are. And personally, I think, and I've been seeing that among people, that it's a great opportunity for us to see us as a consciousness, to increase our conscientiality, to face our vulnerability, how our body in a tick of, in a blink of eyes go, because a little virus goes and infects us. So, those chapters for me, it helped me a lot to think about what is essential nowadays in life.
Yes, exactly.
And coronavirus is showing us what's essential. Do we need all this food? Do we need all this clothing? Do we need all these
distractions?
Distractions, yes. Do I need all these friends? Because sometimes people get, lots of friends. I do need the people that make me feel good. That I'm happy, I'm actually have affinity. Do I need all these texts or activities, you know? It's actually, I've been seeing that and talk with people. It's what is essential nowadays in our lives. Now, the minimalism as well. In Japan, they work so well with minimalism, the less is more. And so all these, I think it's positive in Corona during this time. And if we actually enter in this wave, wow, we're going to come out without having to need so many shoes, so many bags, so many food. So.
Yes. In this point, I'm thinking also that it's a time that I received some messages from shoppings here that sell clothes. Why I need to buy a clothes? I see the new model, but why? I am going anywhere. So I think that anyways, it's a moment for me, it's a moment that for us that have this knowledge to analyze deeper ourselves as a consciousness. And these chapters, I think they are very, very connected with this possibility to think about us as a consciousness in evolution, in continuity.
There is just one thing, it's quality of interaction.
Yeah, very nice. Vieira wants to say something.
Yeah, I'd like to say that, in fact, what I see is more and more connection from people that wouldn't have this opportunity because, in fact, we used to have just presential meetings, and many people wouldn't participate. For instance, on my job, we have meetings from people from all the country, and it never happened before. Yeah, and so this physical distance don't mean social distance is a real fact for us. Yeah, that's my opinion. That what I haven't seen here.
Yeah, that's it. That's, you know, how can I say, in this situation, the pro of this, you know, it's forced us to see how we can access more people online, kind of equalize the situation in terms of distance. And so people from like all around the world, especially in terms of like international activities and all the volunteering activities I've been seeing, everyone's been going online, and this has been a very positive outcome. People can access more easily.
Yeah. Also, my duo, he has 7 brothers and sisters. Yeah, and they use the WhatsApp with the image of all of them together having meetings. It's so new, and it's so great. It's really great because they use just gather presential in meetings, family meetings, Christmas Day, and now they have these meetings more frequently. Yeah, and also I did with my son that is in Vancouver, and my mother somewhere else, and it's really nice.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. It's the same.
It's a different way of socialize. No, it's a different. I think we are having this new pattern, and as Anna said, we can choose, more, and we can assist more if we choose the people that we really, we are here. We have the opportunity of, be with those people we need to be and we need to do, even if they are far away from us.
There's no physical distance for energy, right?
No. And another thing that I observed from a professional point of view, how all the professionals, even the ones that are really busy, but there is an intercooperation, and people say, you're starting, come on, come give a talk with me, or, online, because you can be anywhere, and people will, okay, we can join me for this live, or join. And there is a cooperation among even the professionals in order to help people. And I haven't seen so many free activities from really good professionals that they wouldn't, good people, really. I remember a course with them, or a conference, it's so expensive, and now they are free online, universities. And I think it's a great time for us to really capacitate ourselves in order to assist other people better, and also to put out there the abilities we have, and so we speak English, we can help in the translation that will reach people in Romania, will reach people in Poland, and things that can help us to enter in this flow of reurbanization and interassistancy.
And okay, thinking about interassistance, although people don't know Conscientiology, for example, but there are some people that are how I say, putting their potentialities or unavailable to help others. That also people are thinking more about values. It's also a point that I think these chapters helped us to analyze. How are our values, in fact? So I think some people are doing this. They are trying to help others without recompensation, monetary recompensation, for example. This is a point that I think it's also positive.
Related with this kind of values, and as Jeffrey said before, this kind of acceleration, I think we realize about what happened around the world. So there are a lot of people with difficulties, problems. So, wow, what can help them? Something like that. I think the world, people are more aware what's happening, will happen with the people. I think so.
And João, I think for most of us, I think people notice better how we are connected with, né? Or between us and between the life. Né? And yeah, speaking about our values, I think it's a moment that some people are thinking more about this. Né?
I was thinking that globalization connected us from all over the world, and the virus, it's a kind of make all of the humanity equal. Yeah, it's something that I think no matter how rich you are, no matter which country you are vulnerable. Yeah, you have this potential of losing your life, as you said, in a blink of eyes. Yeah, yeah. This is something that it's related to paralaw and equanimity. This condition of everyone is in the same, as you would say, the same boat. Used to say in Portuguese.
In English too.
And I see, as Louis Mara is saying, it's a great opportunity to develop empathy, because we can hear the other people and see and hear ourselves and see what is going through our lives and what's going on. And then when you hear the other person, they pretty much going through the same fears and anxieties. And so it's a great opportunity for us to actually amplify our ability to have empathy and hear what comes into the universe of the other person. Because I don't know if you guys observe, but it's very easy. If you give some time, you keep in silence and give some time for people, they start to talk. They start to talk about what's going on inside of them. I haven't had so many people doing this, you know, so easy. And yeah, people want to talk, and people want to be heard as well.
Yeah, I think people are more sensitive in this time. Né? So it helps maybe to establish this, or to develop this kind of empathy. Né?
And yeah, and I think it's how could I say, an opportunity. Like people, it's like giving people permission to okay, we're all in a difficult moment. So, you know, I'm able to speak and communicate more because, you know, yeah, it's acceptable. Maybe it's more acceptable to express yourself.
Yeah, there is a lot of encouragement, and even more so in the media now, for people with, you know, depression or other even maybe even more mild mental illnesses and stuff, to seek help, to go get help, because all the internal pressures which are coming during this period of time. And that's great, like to destigmatize it, you know. And so people are talking about it even more freely and openly than before. But I think it's still many of these things where people have to show they're vulnerable or show their difficulties. It's still such a hard thing in general for us to do. You know, we don't like to feel vulnerable or feel exposed or to feel weak, and particularly in some cultures, you know, you got to be big and tough and strong or whatever, and admitting and recognizing the difficulties we have it's such a way to internal freedom, but it's such a hard thing for many of us in different cultures and places to do.
Yes, and as you said, Jeffrey, I think also, or I notice some the people are thinking more about, as I read in this paragraph, conscientiality, people are thinking more about resentments or how is the quality of the relationship between them. For example, a person and a mother and a daughter or something like this. People are, in my opinion, are more concerned about this or are trying to solve problems in this way. For example, when they have, for example, there is a resentment, I need to forgive someone, and people are speaking more about this. I don't know if it's conscious or unconsciously, but there is a movement that I see in the moment. People are more concerned about the quality of their relationship. Maybe because they are also thinking about, I could die tomorrow, I don't know. Nah? This kind of thinking is more closer to us in this moment. Renato, do you like to say something?
Actually, I want to ask you guys a question. I was just thinking here that maybe if it think like planetary speaking, like the whole planet, maybe this pandemic at this point is just lifting up a lot of old dust, right? I don't know that like if you could like just kind of try to level the status quo of the planet right now. I feel like and I ask you guys if you what you think about it. I feel like it's lifting up a lot of dust to where it's a great opportunity for the world population to rethink things, you know, in general, you know, and for those that are not thinking about things that should be changed and stuff, you know, they are going through trouble. And anyways, you know, I don't know, I think it's shaking the society as a whole to kind of, hey, you know, there's something else, you know. I guess I think it's maybe a link with the urbanization. There's something related to the urbanization, I guess. I don't know what you guys think.
Yeah, the thought that came to my mind, Hinata, when you were talking is because there is you know, besides the fact that people are more vulnerable, they feel maybe more vulnerable in terms of, you know, any moment that, you know, something could happen to them, but also in terms of like the economic situation, you know, the stability. It's something that a lot of people have a very strong value, you know, and there's so many people that are like losing their jobs, businesses going under. I think this is, you know, this effect, I think, and of course the other effect where people just have to stop, and you know, the positive effect on the environment and all these things that are happening. I think, yeah, I think it has, it's a, I think this would probably have like an effect on people, those people that are going through that situation, and you know, and how they deal with that situation on a, you know, individual and societal level.
Yeah. I don't know, it's I think it's just like in history we have been passed through those moments, you know, those viral situation is not only now, we had in the past several times, and that brings some opportunity, yes. I think the virus is not about of urbanization. The virus is just something that, yeah, I know that, Renato, you didn't say that, but just to put my ideas out, is like, is not that that happens to wake us up, you know, but that is an opportunity. What is happening to if we have this opportunity to wake up,
Right.
and that impacts the reurbanization. I think just to get where you were, Renata, I think yes, it impacts the reurbanization, and that makes us more, you know, accelerate, maybe catalyze if we want.
Right, right. But then, like the same way that there are Serenissimi that work with tectonics and climate, and they sometimes they try to balance things out so a catastrophe doesn't happen, like don't come to happen and stuff. Maybe, I don't know, I don't think it's something created to kind of help the urbanization, but on the other hand, it's something that it's going along with the urbanization somehow. I don't know if that's the case. I'm just thinking here.
Yeah, sometimes I think it's not maybe something that the Serenissimus or the Evoluciologus programmed that to happen. Yeah, it wasn't in the program, but maybe they are using or enjoying, I don't know if we can say this word, but they can use this situation to improve or to mobilize or to shake up something, né?
Right. So this is happening.
Maybe.
So how can we make a lemonade out of those lemons,
in
right?
this way, Renato. I think maybe it could be a position that they did, né? Or they have done.
On the same way, yeah.
Oh, you can go. You go on. No, you can go, Limara. Sorry.
Oh, thank you. On the same way, I think, of course, they didn't, Serenissimi didn't provide this virus, okay? I don't think so. But also, the population and everything, the way they feed in China, that we know that provides this condition of the virus, and all these things are on the way of reurbanization because of the quality of life and these conditions. So I don't think the virus was something created by them, but it's on the flow of these needs of urbanization, recycling, and things like that. And I also was thinking that we are closer and warming and welcoming when we are online. But as here in Brazil and Foz do Iguaçu, we are on the top of the virus. The hospitals are full. We have two places, two beds in hospital for coronavirus. We are here in a very, very bad condition. So when we are face to face with people, I think we, in general, the public spaces, we are more suspicious, more cautelous, as taking care. So the same way we are closer here, when we see people, I used to help more, and now I keep a distance because I don't know the hygiene the other is taking. So the same way we have this good condition from technology use, I also think that many people, they didn't realize the opportunity as we are talking now, because we have this, not only this condition, this financial condition, economic one, but also the consciential level, because many people are just having the same lives because they need to work and they need to provide food and the basic conditions. And some people don't really think of the impacts. So I'd like to summarize. I'd like to say that the same way we have, indeed, the difference, they remain. The great difference as intermissivists, or in fact not intermissivists, but people of more intellectuality and this kind of level. Yeah, you see, it's not something about poverty, but something about conscientiality. Yeah, that's, I think.
I would agree with Leymara said initially about the nature, because I think the virus is a consequence of, in my opinion, that what man has done with nature. So we invaded the space of animals. For instance, China has a habit to bring, to eat animals from the wild. Usually these animals wouldn't come closer. And so when it started coronavirus, I was amazed by how nature was reacting. The fish was coming back to sea, the turtles were growing in bits that were empty. So the animals came out and they went out to their home, and the animals could come out from the cave and enjoy nature, where their habitats. And so I think it's a consequence. But from how we are dealing with the planet as a human beings, what are we doing with the planet where we live, and how we actually relate to each other as human beings and the animals as well. And one thing that Xiomara brought very interestingly, one thing I observed being in Brazil and having the chance to read and talk with friends all around the world in different countries, coronavirus in each culture brought something that people can observe, and about the society, about the way people work, what are the distractions, the level of vulnerability or not. Like Jeff said, some place people need to be that tough. But it's here, especially in Brazil, what I observed that it shows very, very clearly the gap we have between the poor and the rich, between the educated and non-educated. The people that has condition to go to hospitals, excellent hospitals in São Paulo, and deal with the coronavirus, and the people that they can't have a physical distance because they live in one room with 10 people. They share their room with 10 people. And they are the ones that has to get a bus packet to go and work in the place that they need to work. And so coronavirus actually showed this and slapped in our face this reality, and proved that is one of the countries that has the greatest number of coronavirus infected and death because of that. And this makes us, for me at least, make me think a lot about these discrepancies and our responsibility on that, being intermissivist, having conscientiality, understand the process of evolution, and how can we intervene in a way that we can help, help people, and but also I saw people that are not uneducated, but they are with their masks, they are washing their hands, and I saw that people are educated, that they think, why should I use that? I don't need to do that. I don't need to put my mask. I don't need to queue to enter in a place. And so it's human, the consciential nature is quite interesting for us. It's very displayed for us to see and to study ourselves and the other consciousness as well.
Yeah. Please, Magali.
That should show our face, our assistentiality, our level in the planet, our level of assistentiality in the planet. And I agree with Anna, there is two realities, and we see that on television all the time, the reality of people that is economic okay, that is working from their home, that everything is okay. The reality that people that is really suffering, that there is a lot of eviction, that people is having to lose their home. So, and you see that on television, and it's a lot of, it's hard to see. I saw on CNN they evict several people. And there was a family that was a couple with 2 children. And there was obvious, the guy lost his job, but he got another job, but there wasn't enough to pay the time that he stayed without jobs. He doesn't have the money, you know, like the money is to eat. I earn today to eat tomorrow. We all know about that, but the reality of a lady, that's an old lady that she just put her chair outside the home and seated there. Because what she wants, you know, what she has to do, she doesn't know, never happened something in her life like this. Coronavirus is putting people out of their door. The number is growing. So we have this 2 reality in the earth now, and I think assistentiality. Which place people are assisting more, which place are they not, and what's happening, no? Are you governing for all, or are you governing only for the rich people or for some classes of people? That's, I think, is something is coming and is being, you know, we all can see those government now.
Yeah, but yeah, it's the reality, and yeah, some people are in a bad situation. It's true, but I think in this way we can do a relation with the chapters that we are talking about. Né? That thinking us as a consciousness in our self-conscientiality, and we can't how I say, save the world. It's not possible. But in this way, thinking about self-conscientiality, how can I help? In which way? In respecting my limits, because we have also our limits. And for me, it's also instigation to try to comprehend, to understand this, that we don't have a possibility to help everyone, but in our with ourselves we can at least try to do our best.
Yes.
So and that we be in peace with this.
Yes, yes. I agree, Regina. One thing that I was thinking about is how to qualify ourselves more, so that, for example, in terms of our intention, the fact that we're performing the clarification task, all these things can help us. Like, for example, there's a lot of, especially in this period, a lot of people, you know, they're going through crises, and you know, we can, I don't know, through Panta, we can help a little bit through qualifying ourselves, our interconscientiality. We can help more on that level, and then reflected on ourselves, you know, as well. You know, how can we, improve ourselves?
On that front, I would like to ask you, and you, Jacqueline, and Regina, because both of you, as Regina said it, I totally agree. I think each of us, we have specialities, we have skills that we can, and abilities that we can help, regardless where, we can help and put our finger there and help in the interassistency. Saying that, you, as you work with ASICS, nowadays you are the coordinator, and Regina, you work with consciential therapy. Have you guys perceived any change, any in terms of the suggestions from your extra-physical team, like the helpers that are related to the function of what you do, in terms, in this context, ideas, suggestions, projections, anyway, anything that have you perceived helping to increase or to expand, or anyway, the activities you guys are doing?
Before? Okay. For me, Anna, as I told before, if I can summarize in a word, I would say reconciliation. The most evolutions that are coming in this moment, the most question that appear in the sessions is reconciliation. Therefore, I told before that people are, in my opinion, are more concerned about this condition, this situation between in the family, mostly in the family, and they are trying to find a solution to if they have some resentments or some guilty things like this. So for me, it's like this. So I think it's part of reurbanization, this reconciliation, because I think we can, to achieve this Serenismus condition, we should be in peace with all the with all the people that we had some questions to resolve, and in terms of expansion, for example, we have this possibility nowadays to give sessions from people everywhere, so this is a nice opportunity, and I think that our most important work in this way is exactly related to self-conscientiality, is to help people to see themselves as a consciousness. Where is your self-conscientiality? Independent of mesology, culture, place, it's not that the question. But what I am doing here, if I have if I did an intermissive course, what I am doing with this, how much are we being coherent with the things that we planned to do here in order to our authenticity? We have a chapter in this, I think it's self-conscientiality. We have a chapter about authenticity. So I was thinking about this. How much are, and Margaret said this also, how much are we enjoying this life, for example, and this situation shaked us, but how much are we exactly enjoying this life to see ourselves in this condition and to do things. I think if I die today afternoon, it's everything okay? Do I need to say something to someone, or do I need to reconciliate with someone? It's everything okay? So things like this, I think, are interesting to think about.
And in answer to your question, Anna, yeah, I see things happening on two fronts. Yeah, the one front is the due to this context, I think I mentioned a little bit before, and others as well, like this ability to reach more people, and more people being able to access this information, you know, these weapons, and the gratefulness, you know, that some people have in being able to now to access this information. So I think, yeah, and there's definitely been an increase of people wanting to help and contribute. And for me, the idea of groupality, this creating stronger bonds with each other, this idea that, you know, we don't evolve alone. We, you know, if we're going to move forward, we need to move forward together. And yeah, so that's been like the main idea. Yeah, and I guess, like, yeah, just with projections and insights, I think a little bit of what Regina was saying, this reconciliation, this, dealing with internal conflicts or pressures, and how to, to think a little bit more lucidly and clearly about their own situation. So.
Great.
Okay, thank you.
I think the question that Regina asked before and what you said now, I want to call this chapter that is 506, Test of Your Mega Priorities. And it has a paragraph that is Conscientiality. And
sorry,
Regina,
Magali, 506. Yeah.
Yes, 506. And the entrance is Conscientiality. So it's related to your question and what we can do, And here is interesting because he's talking about mega priorities and Conscientiality, and he says like this. I'm gonna read because I think make a lot of sense. To serve others in the best fundamental motto for human life. This is a universally agreed principle. However, service is, in this sense, does not mean merely feeling hungry stomachs. This task is already performed by Socin, despite being pathological. It will be much more intelligent to serving in the awakening of consciousness, which is more difficult, less appealing, and demand great dedication. So what Jacqueline was telling, that is to be abroad, to make it bigger, to everyone can have access to this idea and awaken people, That is the same thing that consciential therapy and all the Conscientiology group does, I think I just had lots of star on that one, and I think it's a good thing because, in the end, inside of me, I like to do tacon. Maybe it's the past, but it comes like, oh, I wish I could go there and give the soup and treat people in doing that. And when I read that awakening people, then those people will help more other people. So it's really makes sense for me.
Yeah, Magali, I agree with you totally. And for me, it is also a part of my self-consciential therapy. It's a confrontation to do this transition from consult task to clarity task. Because I know that I did a lot of consult task. It's very, very comfortable, very pleasure to me to do this. Yes, but in this life, I know that it was part of my list, what I need to change.
Psychology, consciential therapies.
Yes, yes. And I worked with people in palliative care. So, and I started I knew Conscientiology because I was in a kind of Medellin, and I started to work in a cancer hospital as a volunteer. And I noticed a lot of energy when I was there. I was full of energy, and I started to ask myself, what's this? So I noticed this energy. I need to know about energy. And then I arrived in Conscientiology. Okay, this is, I did okay, I don't need to put in details. Yeah, but with this job, for example, I feel very, very comfortable. But for me, I stopped to do this job because I could be very involved on this and lose my Proexis, because for me it's very important to do this transition from consult task to clarity task. So this is an opportunity also that we have now to bring this knowledge for other people in the world. People, of course, as Anna said before, the people that want this knowledge, that want to do something different. And of course, as a consciential therapist, for example, the people that we most touch is people that have intermissive course. It's easier to understand about consciential therapy.
Yeah, I just want to hear Flavio also to talk, because it's, you know, if you think about Penta, it's just to stay there with your hand like this. Some people will say, wow, you're doing nothing there. Let's come and help me. No, not doing, just being there and send energy. But so if you can bring something about Penta.
When I started this coronavirus period, my internet stayed. When I started, I think I will have less work, and I can rest in my home. But with the activities of the Penta IC, we have a lot of demands of the Penta practitioners with problems with your activities, and then we have more work in our Penta practice. And we have meetings 2-3 times per day, and with Penta practitioners of the various countries in the world. And they explain for us our difficulties, our how do your tasks, and need help to do. And we improve our volunteers in our institution. And we have an interview with one volunteer for a week. And a lot of the people are interested in the Penta practice in this moment, and then in the help other people. And you have a Penta requests more serious, more intense. But people are interested in make this practice. It's an interesting thing to do. And it's not a time to have less work, but it's an opportunity to qualify our practices and work more and better.
I would like to talk about the clarity task and consult task, because I'm interested, because depending on the moment of the consciousness, there is a balance. I have we can depend on the moment. I think sometimes we do consult task because that moment of the consciousness is not prepared. Maybe your presence or a hug, something like that, can assist them. So it's interesting, because sometimes I think, well, I just need to clarify that people, but sometimes not. Sometimes just you have a good time with that people, and, just to compliment.
Yes, sure. Yeah, exactly. So sometimes it's necessary. It's the only way that we have, and I am not saying if people understand like this, that it's not necessary. It's sometimes it is what we can do. It's okay. Né? What we are trying to say is this moment help us to spread this clarification task, né? This clarity task, né? In this way. But of course, consult task it's still necessary, of course.
I think there's also different forms, right, of the clarification task. It's not always in what you say to the person. It's penta, it's your example, right? Your thosines, how you thosenesize. So clarification task, I think, can take those different forms as well. But yeah, definitely how you manifest that, it takes some discernment, and that's the challenge, right?
Yeah, I was thinking this is the word discernment as well, to increase your level of discernment. Your orthodoxeneting, having these more linear thoughts, to qualify yourself more. I think this is very important. Yeah.
Yes, for example, Anna, only to finish. Yeah,
no, I say many persons think why penta is not a consult task, why penta is a clarity task, because what you give with your bioenergies is the result of your recyclings, and you in your energies you give examples of your recycling. This example make a difference for the existence. Only this.
Very nice, Flavio. Yeah, exactly. And this is also a way to broaden our vision about Claritask, né? That through our energy in relation to our recycles, we can transmit, né, this concept. Because, for example, sometimes if I do penta and I think it's important to increase the lucidity of the other person. For example, I try to focus my energy in the superior, in the frontal chakra and coronal chakra, for example. Né? So there are things that we can do through penta, through our energies, that can help the other, for example, to think better, né? How I say this, deblock unblock, yeah, to unblock the energies or the energetic intrusions, example.
So, I just a question there. It's about Flavio said that penta is a clarity task, right? But it's so difficult to see like clarity task, because in the same time you are donating energy, and energy is food, is things. So can you talk a little bit more about penta being clarity task and not also consult task? Or maybe it's a clarity task, but it's also a consult task?
We can't donate everything we don't have. And we think, I will donate my best energies. But if you don't have a homeostatic condition, you don't have universalism, you don't have cosmoetics, we can donate it. And if you can donate it, we can't exist this type of conscience that need that assistance. But if you make your recyclings, you can be more universalist, you can be more homeostatic, we can feel better, and you can donate you feel better, your condition of you being, and for the other consciousness. And the other consciousness can feel better, and the helper can do, the consciousness feel angry for a long time. And when we feel that energies, the helpers can do, can talk for this consciousness. Oh, you can be better. We don't need feel angry, for sad, and it's opportunity for the older consciousness that receive that energies recycling to your condition, and the exemplarism and of your energies.
And do you think it helps to make them a little bit more lucid about their condition, for them to be able to reflect a little bit, yeah, through those energies, through, yeah, own recycling?
Yes, yes. In some topics in this chapter, Professor Waldo mentioned also about the power of our energies. Sometimes we don't think about this, but it's also for me a condition, or I think that we can go deeper about our docility in order to qualify our energy and to yeah, to use for the best, né?
Yeah.
Our energy in this life.
But what I understood of this is that the penta is to clarify the person, is help the person to recycle. That's why it's clarify task and not consult task. Because when you bring, you give energy, but it's not only energy. This energy is used to do recycle. And so it's used to clarify. Is that more or less, Flavio? Is that?
Yes. If the assisted conscious can change your docents, and the extraphysical condition of this consciousness will be better. It's only the energy can't this change, but with the clarity task in our energies, we can help the consciousness to change. It's
yeah, I think through our energies, we can help, as Jacqueline also said before, we can help the people to open their mind, né? to clear maybe the intrusion thoughts that are there, and to help the people to think more lucid. Né?
It's more or less like it's a bubble, a holotosene. I was thinking, no? You come close to a person that usually the soseni or the holotosene of this person, the main actions and so on, it's kind of a closed-minded, a person very traditional, based on, this has to be like this always. And when you come close to these people, it's like your thoughts come to, whoa, you can't associate much of ideas, you can't think a little bit more about yourself, you tend to go to a certain way of thinking. Penta actually create a way that the person energetically, and that's what Flavio said, and I totally agree, we go, the penta, the person that's going to be assisted with our penta, gonna go up to the point where we went to with our intraconsciential recycling. So if we have an energetic field, which is for thinking by ourselves, not following applying the principle of disbelief, of questioning things. Is this for me? It's not. And if we generate kind of holocene, inevitably when we talk, that goes to the consciousness, that pattern, and we will exteriorize the energy and go that pattern. And so it's that moment the conscious can breathe and also can find their own way of thinking, and the helper can intervene. And I think that's the energy is not to feed. The energy is to create a proper environment for that person to think. And that's the difference between consolation task and is a clarification task or clarity task. We create a field where the person can think by themselves and connect with their extraphysical procedence, connect with their parapsychism, develop their parapsychism. We're not feeding them with absolute truth. We're not feeding them with energy that to feed them to feel, my emotional state is better. No, we are not we are creating an environment where the person is gonna think by themselves and feel good. Not because we are giving energy to them, but because they are actually strong enough to create that environment for them. You remember when, I don't know, some of you gave classes. I remember giving classes and come out from the classes, the powerful, wow, so much energy. And then I would think, oh my gosh, I want this condition. And and not because only the presence of the helpers, but I want this condition. How do I get that? And so that's the clarification task. It's actually show us that what you can do or can be. So go there, follow that, follow your path, no, in a sense. And I think that's the strength of the clarification task.
Yeah, exactly.
The really medicine, you can give the other conscience, is the fruit of recycling. When the conscience receives this energy, this conscience know you for a long time ago, and they think, if this guy can do this recycling, I can do this too. It's a terrible example.
So the other has no chance. Jacqueline, you would like to say something, or?
Yeah, no, I just wanted to continue a little bit from this very interesting discussion. That it's like it's a two-way thing. It's like you're recycling, you're qualifying yourself, even within the penta, right? You're watching your own thoughts. You're trying to maintain your discernment, all these things, and this, as Flavia said, the consciousness being assisted is receiving the results, the fruits of your process. So it's a very much constant two-way process. Yeah.
And our conviviality in this life, in the other's life, it's not good. And when we act with the helper, we can do a high level of conviviality, a special type of conviviality. It's freedom for us. We can root our chance with the other consciousness, and helper can help us to achieve this conviviality, this type of conviviality, because in the past and in this life we have a bad conviviality with the planet, with the animals, with the plants, with the environment, and the other human beings.
As I see here, we have more 5 minutes, né? So maybe it's interesting to ask if someone that doesn't say nothing wants to say something, to give a last chance. It's okay. It's not necessary to to speak, but only to pay attention and to give the opportunity to everyone to say, né? It's okay. So, yeah, okay. But I think we had a nice discussion, né, about our self-conscientiality, our consciousness, our self as a self-consciousness, self-conscientiality, about evolution, about our responsibility, né, about with our docility and our actions and reactions. And okay, if someone wants to say something, Jacqueline.
Yeah, no, I just think it's been a very nice discussion, and Regina, you know, the ideas that we spoke about, what you mentioned, and connecting it with the current context that we're in. And I think, yeah, it was very rich, yeah, discussion. Yeah. I don't know if anyone would like to make.
Sorry.
Yes, Mashiko?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask a quick question. If you had any comments, because we didn't really get to touch upon seriality too much, and I know that's kind of your specialty. So if you had any kind of last comments that you wanted to add about that?
Well,
just
really, I just have questions. I don't know if we have enough time to speak about it, but yeah, just to become more aware of this process of seriality. You know, for example, yeah, it's all connected, but do you really accept this, you know, and take advantage of your knowledge of the XXVIII process in your current life, and what positive effects have come from accepting this concept of XXVIII? It's more just a reflection, just about, yeah, you know, what would change, you know, if we, you know, if things were, if everyone kind of accepted this concept of seriality, it's, you know, it would, and how we can help with this process.
I think just one of the thoughts I had, I don't know if anyone else agrees, but when I was reading the chapters about seriality, is that sometimes people only think about this existence and this interphysical life, right? And in the context of COVID as well, maybe even more so, you know, that finality, people have that sensation of finality. And so in a sense, people kind of stop caring about, well, the environment and everything that's going on and our responsibility in this human life. But what they forget is that, you know, we'll be reborn, and possibly we'll be reborn on this planet again. So you're not just thinking about the future for future generations, you're thinking about your next life as well. So I think it's a good reminder in this context as well.
Exactly. It focused a lot about also on this preparing for your future life, you know, having where will I go, in this whole context. But yeah, not just thinking it's just for this life, but, you know, we can, that's interesting points you raised, Mashiko. Yeah.
Thanks, Jacqueline.
Okay. Thanks.
So I think we can go into finish with Magali and Michiko. It's okay, as I have here in my clock 1 minute more. So I'd like to thank you very much for this opportunity and for our discussion. And I think all of us have some ideas and some new points to think about after this. And this is most important. And yeah, thank you very much for that opportunity.
Yes, thanks a lot, guys. Thanks, everyone. And thank you, Magali and Mashiko, for organizing this. It's, yeah, That was really
thank
great.
you, guys.
Yeah.
And,
Yes, thank you very much.
we want to invite everyone for our next meeting. That one was really good, was really great. But next meeting will be 17 October. And we'll talk about the chapters intermissibility, self-mimicry, holocarmality, and cosmoethicality. So guys, we'll be here, Tatiana and Paula. So I hope you can join us again. Okay, thank you everyone.